What's up everyone, Phil coming at you with a brand new Weiss Schwarz deck profile, and today we're jumping back into the Weiss Schwarz Data Live set to take a look at our first completed waifu deck. Obviously I've done a few work in progress profiles which you can check up here on the channel. Today someone asked for me to do origami, so of course we're doing origami first, and I've got to say origami is easily one of my favorite of the 5 mono character decks to play. With Kurumi obviously being my favorite, but origami works out to be a pretty consistent deck that can actually have some decent power and definitely stands a good chance of winning. If you do like this profile, remember to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help, and I'm trying to reach 400 by the end of the year. And if you can help me do that, I'll be super grateful. Now that's out of the way, guys, let's jump into it, and hopefully you guys do enjoy it. Starting off with our grade zeros, we have 3 copies of the one Fujimi Bunko card that we do run in the deck, and that is 3 copies of the Origami Runner, Origami White Wing Angel. Now it is off trait, being that it's Spirit and Fujimi Bunko trait. So that is a little bit annoying, but we're not really going to go out of our way to search this. If we have it, we have it. If we don't, we don't. We clock it, we stock charge it. It's still nice to have a free runner. Next up, we have 3 copies of Origami's only double R in the entire set, which is her level 0 clock bomb called Mysterious Classmate. Whenever your opponent plays a Climax, you can chuck her into your stock from field, and she's a level 0 clock bomb as well, which is nice removal. 4 copies of our Brainstorm, which comes to us from the trial deck, which is Origami Strange Look. During our main phase, we can look at the top card of our deck at the start of our main phase. We can either leave it there or put it in the waiting room, and she's a pay 1 tap self draw Brainstormer. So better than nothing. Coterie doesn't have a Brainstormer, so at least we have a draw Brainstormer, so we shouldn't complain. Next up, we have 3 copies of Origami After a Bath. When we play a Climax, we can pick 2 of our characters and give them 500 power till the end of the turn. And we can pay 1 rest, check the top 2 cards of our deck, add a level 1 or higher card from those to our hand, which is also nice for getting some extra cards to our hand. 2 copies of Origami Happy Incoming Call. So when this card is placed, we reveal our hand, and if there's a Climax in it, we can neg all our opponent's characters by 500 power till the end of the turn. She's also a Climax swapper, so we can pay 1 on play and discard a Climax to salvage a Climax, which can help us a lot. I know a lot of other characters would benefit more if they have that in their deck, but it's still fine to have in the Origami deck. 2 copies of Origami Gathering Information. If all our characters are Date or Spirit, she will get 1000 power. Obviously doesn't work with our runner on the field. And when she's played, we can put the top card of our stock into our clock. Then we can take any card we want out of our clock, and then we take a damage from the top of our deck. So nice for some clock searching and swapping there. Level 1s, we have 4 copies of Origami Returning to School. So if all our characters are Date or Spirit, she gets 2k power cross turn, which makes her one of the only level 1 combos in the set that gets power cross turn. Thankfully, that is on our turn as well, because she does need to reverse. She's one of the only ones, I think, her and Toka are the only 2 that need to reverse. So when she reverses an opponent, you can pick a level 0 or lower character in your waiting room, chuck it into stock, and check the top card of your deck. If it's a level 1 or higher card, you can add it to your hand, which is nice. Next up, we have 3 copies of Origami in Swimsuit. When she comes from play, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a Date Spirit character, or specifically the Origami counter event, you can neg all your opponent's characters by 500 power till the end of the turn. I don't know why a lot of her cards have this ability, they just do. And then when she attacks, you can pick one of your other Date or Spirit characters and pump it by 500 power, where 500 is the number of Date or Spirit characters that you do have. So very nice, can help you out with your level 1 combo if you really do need to get a reverse and get some stock building that way. 2 copies of Origami Strange Conversation. So she gets 500 power for each of our other Date or Spirit characters, and she has Clock on Course, so at the end of the day, it's just a nice level 1 beat stick. Last 2 level 1s we play Origami Long Range Shooting. So just the first effect is at the start of our Climax phase, we can pick one of our characters and give it 3000 power till the end of the turn. Obviously, all of this to help our level 1 combo get reverse, get the reverse that she needs for our combo. Second effect is we can rest her and specifically discard this event to do one of 2 things. We can look at the top 2 cards of our deck, add a character to our hand, or we can pick one of our opponent's level 3 or lower characters, and then in our opponent's next turn, that character will not stand. So it can be very useful. A lot of the time, you want to be putting this in your back row as quickly as possible, but I think 2 copies is perfectly fine. You could cut like the Bath Origami down to 2 and play 3 copies of that, but I think 2 copies of that one is perfectly fine. Next up, we have 1 copy each of both her early play Punishers. So first up, we have our green one, which is Origami perfect in the city. So she is an early play clock bomb. So obviously if she gets reversed by an opponent's character who's a higher level than them, you put them into clock and you take the top card of their clock out. And when she attacks, she pumps one of your other Daedal Spirit characters for each copy of the event that you have in Waiting Room, which I think is a nice way to really utilize the event in the deck. And then we have the other one, which is Origami Intensifying Battlefield. When she attacks a grade 3, she gets plus 6,000 power, and she also has Twin Drive, so you can pay 1 and trigger check twice. Level 2 counter, the only non-Origami in the deck, because she is like Origami's friend in the anime, Kusabake, so it is just a vanilla 3k counter. That's cool. It's also worth noting that she's not date trait, so if you do play her, all your characters aren't going to get all their power, but that's completely up to you. I mean, you could run Mana in the deck as well, as she is AST trait, and she does get power. She's a nice like early play, like first turn beat stick, but it's up to you. I don't really have a use for her at the moment. Moving on to grade 3s, we have 4 copies of our main grade 3, Origami Tobiichi. When she's placed from hand to stage, the top 3 cards of your deck, add any card you want to your hand. Climax combo, when she attacks, she gets plus 1,000 power, and your opponent mills the bottom 4 cards of their deck, and then for every Climax that they hit, you get to repeat the following process X times, deal 1 damage. Now, this is a great finisher, especially because she's at the rare slot, so she's not even that expensive to get a hold of. She doesn't heal on play, but we do have a healer in the deck, and she's able to dig for her Climax, which arguably I think is a little bit better than having a finisher that heals these days, which is, you know, and then you leave your healing for like the early play, one of your other grade 3s. The downside is that if your opponent is playing anti-burn 1, this card is absolutely useless. And if your opponent is super lucky and has their Climaxes on the top of their deck, you're not going to be able to do much either. But the fact that the combo is free and she just needs to swing is also really, really good. Next up, 2 copies of Origami Ready for War. When she comes from hand to stage, look at the top card of your deck. If it is a level 0 lower character, you can put it into your stock. When she comes to play, you can discard a card to specifically go search an event. Obviously, we're going to search for this event. And then when she attacks, you can pay 1 to give one of your Daedal Spirit characters 1/5 power until the end of the turn. Again, helping with the reverse if need be. Last 2 grade 3 characters we play are through 2 copies of Origami Confrontation with Spirits. When she comes to play from hand, we get to heal 1, and we can discard 2 cards on play to return one of our opponent's cost 1 or lower cards back to their hand. So we can use this to get rid of level assists or any other pesky 1-cost cards that might be pretty annoying for us. Next up, 3 copies of Basic Manifestation Device. If this was a level 2 event, you could probably run it at 4. 3 is a bit much, but obviously we have all those cards that do work with it. Otherwise, you'd probably only run it at 2. When you play it, you get to repeat the following process 3 times. Choose one of your opponent's characters, it gets neg 1 soul. So you can you basically have neg 3 soul across your opponent's field as a counter, which can be very, very useful, especially as, you know, it can save you from taking a lot of damage. Moving on to our Climaxes, we have 4 copies of our level 3 Climax combo. Obviously, that is a pants trigger on Origami Revenge from 5 years ago. When we trigger it, we get to salvage a Climax, which is nice, especially if you do have that Climax swapper. And then we have 4 copies of our level 1 Climax combo, Apology from the Super Genius, which is a stock soul, but it is worth noting we stock a level 1 or lower character, not a green character. But anyway, guys, that is it for the deck. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. I really do love playing this deck, and I'm pretty sure you guys will do too if you like Origami. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for the upcoming deck profiles we have for Kurumi, Toka, Kodari, and Yoshino. And I am working on like a monster Kurumi deck as well, and I'm trying to work on more of a meta build as well. So feel free to sub to the channel and hit that bell notification so you guys are notified when I make those videos and put them up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you for my next video.